Chapter 23 Optics, Sight and Light. There are those who have seen and those who have been blinded. But now all the world shall see when the Son of Man returns in the heavens. For as he promised on that day, truly, truly, I say to you, you will see the heavens open, and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. John 1:51. Optics is the study of light and sight, as light reflects and refracts through a medium such as a prism or a lens, and light as it reflects and refracts through the lens of our eyes is the light which gives us our sight. For optics is derived from the Greek word optikos, which means to do with sight. And the light of the sun is reflected and refracted through the lens of this world. For it is through his light that he gives this world sight. For the sun was the true light, which coming into the world enlightens every man. He was in the world, and the world was made through him. And the world did not know him. He came to his own, and those who were his did not receive him. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, even to those who believe in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. John 1:9. When a beam of light is reflected from a smooth planar surface, the angle of reflection equals the angle of incidence. The image of an object in a plane mirror has the same size and shape as the object, but is reversed. The image is from the same distance behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. And the word reflection is derived from the Latin word reflexus, which means a bending back. And in the same way, the Lord bends us back to see an image of his glory in our lives. For first we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I will know fully, just as I also have been fully known. 1 Corinthians 13:12. But as we mature in the Word and the Spirit, we are transformed into the image of the Lord. When a beam of light passes from one medium to another, its velocity is affected and its direction changes. The greater the ratio between the velocities, the greater the degree of refraction. The index of refraction of a medium is the ratio between the velocity of light, or c, and the velocity of light in the medium. And the index of refraction correlates with the amount a beam of light is deterred off its original course. For the velocity of light is fastest in a vacuum, but is slowest in a medium that is darkened. Thus all men refract off the course of a light, when he dwells in a place that is contrary to his word. For the Lord has instructed us repeatedly to follow the path of his light. This is the message we have heard from him and announced to you, that God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. If we say that we have fellowship with him and yet walk in the darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth. But if we walk in the light as he himself is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus his Son cleanses us from all sin. 1 John 1:7. And if we are one with the Son who is light, then we become children of the light. But now you are light in the Lord, walk as children of light. For the fruit of the light consists in all goodness and righteousness and truth, trying to learn what is pleasing to the Lord. Ephesians 5:8. But man has continued to turn from the light. Thus God has separated the light from the dark. For refraction is derived from the Latin word refractus, which means to separate. For when God created the light of the world, God separated the light from the darkness. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Genesis 1 and 3. And when God sent his Son, who is light, the sons of the light were separated from the sons of the darkness. This is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, and men love the darkness rather than the light, for their deeds were evil. For everyone who does evil hates the light, and does not come to the light, for fear that his deeds will be exposed. But he who practices the truth comes to the light, so that his deeds may be manifested as having been wrought in God. John 3 and 19. And while you have the light, believe in the light, so that you may become sons of light. John 12 and 36. For when that day comes, the Son shall separate his sheep, the sons of light, from the judgment. For when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them from one another, as the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep on his right, and the goats on the left. Matthew 25 and 31. Thus optics describes how our sight is a result of light as it is refracted through the lens of our eyes, and our sight depends on the light as it passes through our lives. For the lens of the eye focuses the beam of light onto our eyes, and the eye is a lamp of your body. When your eye is clear, your whole body is also full of light, but when it is bad, your body also is full of darkness. Then watch out the light in you is not darkness. If therefore your whole body is as full of light, with no dark part in it, it will be wholly illumined as when the lamp illumines you with its rays. Luke 11 and 34. And when light is refracted through a triangle, it forms a spectrum of a rainbow. And when light is refracted through the Trinity, it forms the spectrum of a rainbow. For when the Father destroyed mankind with the flood, a rainbow was sent as a sign of his promise. When the bow is in the cloud, then I will look upon it, to remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. Genesis 9 and 16. And the promise was that the light from the rainbow would be sent into this world. Then I noticed from the appearance of his loins and upward something like glowing metal that looked like fire all around within it. And from the appearance of his loins and downward, I saw something like fire, and there was a radiance around him, as the appearance of the rainbow in the clouds on a rainy day. So was the appearance of the surrounding radiance. Such was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. Ezekiel 1 and 27. For the Son of Man shall return with a rainbow around his throne. Immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was standing in heaven, and one sitting on the throne, and he who was sitting was like a jasper stone, and a sardius in appearance. And there was a rainbow around the throne, like an emerald in appearance. Revelation 4 and 2. For he returns to fulfill God's covenant between God and the flesh of the earth. For he will not destroy all flesh with water again, but with fire and brimstone from the heavens. For on that day that Lot went out from Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven, and destroyed them all. It will be just the same on the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Luke 17 and 29.